Hello, welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Deveci, your host. I'm welcoming you episode 126. As you know, we have a great partnership with missionstatements.com and we have the quote of the day. Practice isn't the thing you do once you are good. It is the thing you do that makes you good. Well, we have a special guest today, but before we get started, I have a couple of announcements that I like to share with you. Well, first of all, as we started to announce last week, we have business podcasting as a service started. Now, you can have your business podcast within the American Business Podcast Network. You can promote your company, your products, your service, and your organization within the American Business Podcast Network and in front of thousands of the American Business Podcast viewers, subscribers, and followers. If you're interested in this service, please send us an email, paas@americanpodcast.tv. And another important point that we need to share is that, as you know, we organize monthly online networking event called CABA, Podcasting Plus Networking. The next one is scheduled for January 30th. It is a great opportunity for you to promote your company, your products and services while you're in front of the American Business Podcast viewers and subscribers. When you scan this QR code, it'll take you to our subscription page, actually registration page. You can register and then you can join us. And next one is January 30th. We have limited seating and today is a great day to sign up and join us. Great. Well, after these announcements, let's invite our special guest to our virtual stage and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Sherry. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you very much. Pleasure is all mine. It's a pleasure to meet you in the American Business Podcast. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
So how was your weekend?
It was a fabulous weekend. A lot of fun going out into the mountains and getting a good hike in.
Sounds good. Where are you connecting from?
California, up in the Sierra Mountains.
Oh, wow. Okay. That must be beautiful. Thank you very much for connecting. So we are based in New York City. Sometimes we connect from other cities as well, but New York City is our home and we stream live from New York City from our headquarters. Well, why don't we get started if that's okay? As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our audience and to our viewers?
Happy to do so. I'm the president of the Foundation for Chiropractic Progress, and the mission for the foundation is really to ensure that awareness is met where alignment is suffering. And we have approximately 39,000 doctors that work with us. We have a global outreach, and we collaborate with all sorts of healthcare organizations and disciplines.
Can you tell us about your career journey a little bit? How did you get started? How your career journey has unfolded over the years?
Well, my journey starts with kind of a negative story, which was I unfortunately ended up in a car accident when I was in my late teens, early 20s, and I suffered significant headaches, and that led me to not getting the answers after that car accident that I was deserving, and I was beginning to lose hope. And I thought I was going to end up being a pediatric oncologist, and that experience really changed my life. The fellow that was helping to get me back on track and get rid of my headaches was a chiropractor, and he was actually my last choice. And where I was and how I prayed for the headaches to go away made me dedicate my entire life to helping others find a solution that reduces the reliance on pain medication and optimizes their health. And that led me to becoming a chiropractor. And after being 25 plus years in practice has now led me to having a nonprofit that really can showcase for many out there that really are at a loss, how they can find their health back.
That's a fascinating story. And we love nonprofits. We love talking about nonprofits, promoting nonprofits in the American Business Podcast. So this is great to know. Well, can you tell us about your day to day work experience? What are the exciting, challenging parts of your work in general?
This started for me when in America, the opioid epidemic was really at a peak level. And we were seeing people addicted to, and unfortunately losing their lives to the use, misuse, or abuse of opiates. And oftentimes, what we were seeing is it started with low back pain. They would go in and they would ask for help. And at the fundamental first few years of having opiates prescribed, they didn't recognize how damaging the impact was because people were becoming addicted. And that led me to taking what I had in Silicon Valley as my practice, working with C suite level business partners to optimize their health. Turned me around to the more tragic and emergent loss of people not getting the care that they need and deserve and ending up losing their lives because they had an opioid overdose. So I left a very beautiful practice of optimizing people's health to really then focus on getting the word and the science and the research out on how do we help people not just alleviate their pain, but prevent it from ever happening. And because I was so comfortable in the optimization of performance, that was an easy no brainer. And I think all companies, when they think about how do we look at our return on investment, being around the Fortune fives and being with their CIO, CFO really made me recognize that if the future really is strong, then we need to be able to go backwards in prevention rather than trying to alleviate problems. And that led me to today, which is really now trying to explore more options and more collaboration and look at preventing problems that should never come up.
What are the biggest challenges facing the organization, you will say?
Currently, the chronic pain epidemic that we're facing, we have a mental health epidemic layered onto what we just seen at the beginning of the year released studies that America is suffering with significant chronic pain. And that takes away from a business person's acumen. And what happens when you have an employee who is suffering is not only is their health suffering, but their productivity goes down. So you have lost work days. You have the unfortunate, which is the potential for them to seek opiates, which can, those opioid prescriptions can in fact, again, reduce the quality of their work or even the frequency of them being around. And then you have the high costs of the claims that are coming in. And that was one of the biggest unfortunate realities we had to face. And it's actually why Adjusted Reality is the name not only of my podcast, but also the Forbes book that we just recently released, because the challenges are so real. And now we're starting to get out into the ethos that Adjusted Reality is really about everyone. It's not if you're suffering, and it's not if you're a worker. It's about being all together and bringing a lifestyle of alignment.
Well, you just mentioned you have a book, published book. Would you like to tell us about your book? Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great. Would you like to tell us about it?
Certainly, one of the pieces to Adjusted Reality is looking at your life as an advocate. Is that what are the choices that you're making that are either putting you in alignment with your goals or taking you away from what you really love and desire? And Adjusted Reality was really spurred on the key that many of us are not aware of some of the minuscule things that seem very benign in our lives that really doesn't that can't impact my outcomes, but they do. And what Adjusted Reality is here to do is really create a wake-up call. This is not a movement of advocacy to a wellness program. That's yesterday. What we're really looking at, wellness has quietly become another task on employees' lists. It's kind of that overflowing checklist and a box to kind of tick off or a program to enroll in, something employees must do. So as a business owner, I want you to reflect. Adjusted Reality is really, it's not about a judgment if you aren't participating in something or you're not trying hard enough. really what we want is to ask our employees or as business owners, what are we doing to instigate and propagate alignment? Because it's not an abstract problem. It's something that every employee is dealing with. You've got sick employees. Are you adding to their to-do list, or are you inviting them to their organization to support them on what they want to be list? And that, I think, is why adjusted reality kind of aligns that energized, attentive, creative employee so that you can feel performance and well-being. I like to think of it as you will not have maximum wealth unless you have the greatest health for your employees.
Absolutely. Well, this is very insightful. Um, let's talk about the state of healthcare industry, if that's okay. How do you see the industry in general, overall? What are the challenges, opportunities you are seeing?
Well, if we start from the unfortunate, the research, and the research takes us to a place where we're really seeing the costs go up, but the outcomes go down. And that's one of the problems that many facilities, employees, and even the insurance companies are starting to recognize is we have done a very poor job of creating an infrastructure that supports the longevity of our employees or of our companies. And the data is in the proof. The proof, pardon me, is really comes out with the data. So if you're looking at aligning your costs to maximize outcomes and return on investment, you really want to focus on prevention. And what does that really mean? And that's where I think we've lost kind of our overall, not only in how we're paying for services from an insurance company level, because we're paying for it's broken, let's fix it. The challenge, that's a big challenge. We need to get out of the it's broken, let's fix it, and start looking at a completely different shift, which is now that we can see the broken side is not working, how do we really set up the preventative side to help employers give back to their employees, but not, like I said, not another to-do list. What we really want is to support the alignment of the culture to support the alignment of the health and those benefits that go along with it. So that, I think, one perspective is the crisis is now how we deal with mental health, how we deal with chronic pain, and how we deal with looking at the obvious, which is unfortunate disease and despair, to how do we get ourselves back into alignment that shapes people's true health and gives them strength through education.
Well, I like to shift our conversation towards AI a little bit, if that's okay. How do you see the impact of AI on business nowadays?
This is a very important aspect, and I want to start with that we look at AI for speed and capability, and that it's really not effective if we use AI to replace human beings. AI should be supporting the human system and not straining the human system. So I like to look at thinking about how AI can boost productivity, but only if it's human operated and it actually is aligned with our goals. And that's where I think the AI next steps would be. How can we use artificial intelligence to maximize human performance and also to be able to look at the systems that start to break down? And let's look at where we are in America right now. We have two systems and we're calling it one. There's two systems. There's the actual sick care system, and then there is a opportunity for a true health care system, which is prevention and optimization. Over on the sick care, you're alleviating, you're keeping people alive. And what we want to do is have those systems collaborate with one another more effectively. And that, I think, is where longevity and performance through artificial intelligence can be such a massive impact in the system that it actually becomes what I would consider a massive disruptor if we focus on how to optimize, especially with our youth as they start growing through, because they're very comfortable with the technology, and
Mhm.
we monitor that. That's where I think AI can boost productivity and longevity.
Yes, and you just talk about longevity. It's a pretty popular subject too, especially there are many podcasts and experiments being available in the market, in social media. Would you like to share some insights about longevity?
Yes, because you can't have longevity if you're constantly in the sick system. No one, I believe, wants to live longer if they're going to be sicker. So the time has to become the element of reflection. And for us to manage each day and really be able to be in alignment, that is a key perspective. And what do we really mean when we start talking about alignment? I want to be hyper focused on one system, and that is the nervous system. For a longevity to take you to where you want to go and optimize performance, that really means that you have to support the nervous system and be able to reflect on what really does engage the nervous system through through the eyes of our youth, through the eyes of our aging adults. And that means that we have to have an understanding, an honest understanding of the adjusted reality framework, which is whole being capacity. We have become very comfortable in a system that takes us apart and not puts us together. So if you have, knee pain, you tend to go and focus on the knee pain. We actually need to have the ability to learn, adapt, and create, that we're one whole being. And that includes our workplace performance and what we do in our lifestyle when we're at home or at work. That's the meaningful change that needs to happen. We need to take care of a person as a whole being. And that's the focus of why the nervous system is such a major piece to look at.
How to survive crisis and uncertainty in business?
This is where we have to start with the very fundamentals. When you're looking at crisis, you're looking at that fight or flight response. So this is going to go back to health. Our health is divided by the nervous system into the autonomic nervous system, which breaks down into two systems: sympathetic, which is fight or flight, and then there is our parasympathetic, which is our rest and digest. Here's where it gets interesting when you're starting to talk about crisis, is that you have to manage crisis with stress management, but you can only do that if you have an aligned lifestyle, both in thinking and physiological challenges. And one of the things being a chiropractor is looking over the time spent with a patient. Often it is in small alignment factors that they don't even think about: their ergonomics, their posture, their sleep, their movement, what they're putting in their mouth every day. To survive crisis, it means that you're in that sympathetic fight or flight mode, and you need someone, a healthcare provider, who can walk with you on a whole being care program. And that means not just looking at the pain, because pain is usually the first thing that comes on in the last thing that comes on and the first thing to go. So if you treat a problem, just because you're pain free does not mean you're out of it. It's kind of like crisis management. Just because the media has simmered when you're talking about media relations doesn't mean the problem doesn't exist. It means that the shift or focus has changed. That's surviving, but now you want to thrive. You want to get past it. So when you think about crisis management, think about your health first, and then everything else starts to fall into place.
Well, you are also a business leader, and I like to also get your insights about communications and marketing practices. What do you see the best marketing practices nowadays for the highest ROI?
This is authentic, truthful, factual opportunities ahead of us. When we can present the facts and literally share the research and ensure that we hold people accountable to what they're saying and ensure that it's factual. Because one of the biggest problems in marketing is we make big bold claims. And unfortunately, that can take people into places that either hurt our business or hurt our lives. And for marketing, I think it's authentic and important to have the facts and share with the audience that they're dealing with that there are dishonest positioning out there. And that can really strain the outcomes that a person wants to achieve. So, for marketing practices, I think now more than ever, we need to have our eye hyper focused on facts, research, and what are the limitations. So it's kind of like looking at healthcare when you take, for example, a medication, you should be able to open the medication fact sheet and not only learn what it's good for and what it's going to be helping you with, but identify what are some of the adverse events if I take this medication. And are there other options? So, marketing to a patient, as an example, since I'm in the healthcare field, means that you can't just give them the good, you have to give them the bad. The bad news is you may suffer with unfortunate headaches from this medication. That gives the patient a very important perspective because if they don't know the adverse events or if they don't know the limitations of the facts, they can get easily brought into a place where they're not adopting or recognizing that they're now gone down a road that they wish they never had.
From your point of view, how would you define leadership and what are the great leadership qualities a good leader must have?
Well, there is a famous uh, quote that I really enjoy, and it's by one of our great leaders, Abraham Lincoln, and it's the best way to predict the future is to create it. And I like to think that a leader really does create future opportunities. They're looking ahead. They have a focus on what it's going to mean to get to that place. And they're also being respectful, as George Orwell had looked at in the past, is who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. A good leader really recognizes that statement because it lends forth what it is to make sure that you're always keenly aware of what's coming down the pike. You have the opportunities, the setbacks, the weaknesses, and you have to set your strategy. So, being a good leader means that you're taking the time to lead people because every leader, if they're leading, means they're leading people. And that means that they're in the people business. So, for them to really understand what are the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats, that is a good leader.
Have you had any role models, any mentors who help you shape your career journey over the years?
I do. And I say this with a very fondness is it's a nanogentarian. So he is 94 years old. He's been through many generational changes, and he's been able to bring all of the decades of his life, the 9 decades, if we should be so fortunate, and has been so gracious with his time and resources. And one of the things I learned very, very early on is the past can predict the future. So when you learn from the past and you learn from someone who's been around for 9 generations and you listen with contentment, meaning that you're at a place where you're learning about natural wealth, because Socrates would say contentment is natural wealth and luxury is artificial poverty. Take a moment just to reflect on that. And that was one of the quotes that my nanogentarian brought to me is, where are you going to be at the end of the day? No one's chasing you. We're all going to end up at the same place. That's the realistic adjusted reality moment. It's that you need to have fun. You need to create your own happiness. And having these kind of mentors in your life, there is no payment that you can give them financially. Someone like this is a true gracious reward to a heartfelt life that is willing to share. So if you could be a mentor today, you can never underestimate the power that you're giving back by giving forward.
If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be that you can share with us?
Naivety is probably where I had my greatest downfall, is that just because you're right doesn't mean it's going to happen. And that was a very painful lesson. The downfall was I trusted without verifying. And that is a very important aspect to how you run a business and how you run your life. Verify. If you're not if you're not comfortable and you go to a doctor and you're not comfortable with that doctor, it just doesn't seem right, it's your opportunity to verify. And I took my doctor's um, diagnosis recently as if it was right, and unfortunately it was not. And it because it took away delicate time that unfortunately led to surgery. So what I'm going to say for everyone listening is you get to choose. You're in control. You're in control of your business account. You're in control of how you run your life. And the more you know, the better you can. And the key word here is choose. The better you can choose. And that doesn't mean you're always going to choose well. It means that you're going to make a choice. But the people that really are able to make the best choices are the ones that really truly understand and educate themselves right. So that was my biggest downfall, is unfortunately I was naive and I took at face value what I was told, and it wasn't the case.
Sometimes in business, things they don't go in our way. How to stay motivated and inspired in times of challenges in business and in career?
Well, I'm going to start with alignment. That I think is a competitive advantage. When you're looking at maximizing your output, you have to realize where you are, and that GPS coordinates leads us to different places. So, where I would say is in a competitive advantage market, it means that you have the tools and you're capable of using those tools. And one of them, if I flip to what I'm good at and focus hypervigilantly on what that is as a healthcare provider, we don't want people to look at their lives as sick care. We want to look at their lives as optimized performance development. And I think that's where alignment fits in, because you as a business leader will have higher retention of your employees and loyalty if you can focus in there. Stronger psychological safety, knowing that your employee is in alignment. And if you want to cut your costs, because that's a big part, why would you want to spend money when it's taking away from your bottom line, when you can build on the return on investment when you invest in your employees so you have less workplace injuries? You have increased engagement and innovation, because when you're feeling good, you choose to do better. You work longer hours because you're motivated, you're passionate. And that takes away from productivity when you're sick. It also takes away from the longevity of that employee, which is burnout. So I think for competitive advantage and business acumen, we need to really look at alignment so that we're focusing on the initiatives of intentional design rather than what we often are looking at, which is spending money in work comp injuries, or spending money on insurance, and your employees' costs are going way up, and they're spending so much money in these insurance companies and they're not getting a good return. And I don't know if there's any other business where you can spend more and get worse results and still be in business.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's a great point. What are your biggest interests outside of work?
I am a big nature fan. So I love being able to shut it all down. And when we started this podcast today, I loved that you asked, what did you do on the weekend? And that's really how we live our lives, is not what we do every day at work, but also we have another side to us. It's that whole being care. It's whole being means I am a whole. I'm not just a career doctor looking to focus on research and innovation, but I'm also a human being that wants to go out and enjoy life. So going on a hike is one of my favorite things to do. And also now that it's turned winter is being able to go snowshoeing and really just enjoy nature to let us ground ourselves. And what I find is when I can get away from work, I'm better at work because as Simon Sinek would say, and I love how he brought this term into it because it kind of focuses on what I do is focus on long-term success but be willing to make short-term adjustments to get there. I think when you take away your stress, you have a bigger opportunity to be vital again. And so your weekends really matter. And the time that you say, I'm shutting off, I'm not checking my emails, I'm not checking my text messages, and go out into nature and just breathe in and just know that you're alive. Because back to the bottom line, we're only here for a short time. We might as well enjoy it. And work is work. Fun weekends and family should also be a balanced system and in alignment.
If you had a chance to go back history, personally or historically, to what time period would you like to go back and why?
I don't think that there's any better time than right now, but I will tell you to answer that question with a little bit of a twist to it. I would like to sit side by side with Albert Einstein because the way he thinks and the things that he thinks he was thinking of really inspired me. And one of them was imagination. And his quote of imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited, imagination encircles the world. I think I would be a better human if I could have sat with Albert Einstein, even just for an hour, because I think the way I look at things would change.
Yeah, this is a really exciting answer. I love it. Well, is there a book, a show, a movie that helped you shape your career perspective over the years?
There is, and I really love this book because it sets habits. It's the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Leaders, and I believe that Stephen Covey did such a fabulous job of putting in place what it means to A, be a leader, and B, what are habits? And habits really get a bad rap because everybody kind of rolls their eyes and goes, ah, have to be that has to be habitual. Actually, one thing that we actually do have to reflect on is what really are habits. And because what we repeatedly do is a habit. So excellence then is not an act. If you want to do well, you have to be well. Hence, I'm living my life that way. Is I want to put into to place the habits that inspire me and make me feel well so that I can be surrounded by the people that also have habits that push them further and farther and more beautiful and boldly because in leadership it is to be bold and that stands out and people want to be around people that are excited and passionate.
What is the best business career advice you ever received, and what is the worst one that you ever received?
The best one is to say yes, is don't be afraid to take it on right now. Yes is a word that's very powerful and people get inspired when there's a yes. The worst business advice I'd ever been given, I think, boils down to stay stay in your lane. And that's horrible thinking. That's like stick me in a box and don't let me break out. The beauty of getting really good advice is saying yes. It means that you're actually going to try new things because what doesn't grow dies. And when someone says stay in your lane, what they're really saying is you're not either capable or B, they're trying to pigeonhole you into something that you're bigger than that, you're bolder than that, and you're more beautiful if you can start tasting life. There's a famous saying, especially when it comes to food. You really want to taste a lot, eat a little. Taste it all. What does your palate love? What inspires you? Some people love lobster and some people love steak, but if you never get a chance to try it, how would you know you like it? So don't listen to the naysayers. Build boldly and really lift yourself up, especially in your career, by having your voice at the table and being around the people that inspire you and that they're on track and they're in alignment and they really do care. And I think where chiropractic fits in is we're about you, we're for you, and we're really with you on a whole being care synopsis. And if you're not feeling well, it's harder to do well. So being in that place where you're focused, your lifestyle's in alignment, and you're not listening to the naysayers is a good thing.
Do you have any career advice for the next generation business professionals?
I do. And I think one of those pieces is really the secret to change. They're going to be in massive disruption, more than any other generation, I think, with how AI is going to change. And so they need to be the change makers, but they also really need to focus all of their energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. And that's where I think best practices can be put in place as we grow and we continue to open up. So for those young people listening, don't listen to the people that say AI is going to take over your jobs, your time, and you're just going to be a lemming. That's just not nonsense. You need to be focused on how do I manage change in my life? How do I grow? And how do I surround my people, my business acumen around people that are go-getters and see positive and live positively? And that means that if you want to find yourself in success, you got to take away the things that you know are pulling you behind, like alcohol, high level sugars, poor sleep habits, the people you surround yourself with. You know, Charlie Tremendous Jones always said this, and I'm going to add to it, is you become the person you want to be in the next 5 years by the people you meet and the books you read. Okay, now I'm going to add to that the places you go. So it's the books you read. It's kind of like a Dr. Seuss saying, it's the books you
Mhm.
read, the people you meet, and the places you go. Don't keep yourself in one district. Like you're in New York City right now. I'm in Grass Valley, and I'd be happy to go to New York City next week. In fact, I'm leaving on Friday. So
Oh,
I
sounds good.
jump into the places you want to go. Do you want to go to Amsterdam, Switzerland? Like think
Mhm.
fun things, because the more you can change and the more energy you put towards the positive, the better you're going to have as outcome measures.
Yeah, this is really, really inspiring. Well, is there any question that you had expected me to ask you, but I didn't ask you?
Well, I would like to go to Adjusted Reality, the Forbes new book, because
Okay.
those that are listening right now, I hope they took away one or two pieces. But I think if you have a company that you want to inspire people with, start aligning with Adjusted Reality, align to them being their best, and having that Adjusted Reality book in their hands and even getting a copy for loved ones can maximize how we live our lives with a whole being care perspective. Because again, it comes back to that bottom line. If we know better, we can choose to do better. And Adjusted Reality has Amazon #1 bestseller in 4 different categories, and a Barnes and Noble's #1 best category in 2 areas. And I think as we're growing, and we just released, so we're very excited about it. But you can get it anywhere: Barnes and Noble's, Target, Walmart, anywhere you get your books. But it can also be added to by the Adjusted Reality podcast, where we learn from athletes, celebrities, influencers, and healthcare professionals how to get that longevity that we all want. We want to live
Mhm.
better and longer.
Absolutely. We love talking about books in the American Business Podcast. I'm glad that you expanded on adjusted reality and where our audience can find the book, get the book. So that's really good to know. And about your podcast, where is it running?
You
YouTube
can
or
get
another?
it on all podcasts, from
Okay.
Apple Podcast to Buzzsprout. And I just was told that according to FeedSpot, we're in the top 30 of the number 100 best doctor podcasts in the world. So it's a
Amazing.
good listen. It's a fun listen.
Hmm. That's great. Congratulations. Definitely good to know. And I'm glad we talk about your podcast as well, so our audience they'll know and they can follow you. Well, we have a little tradition in the American Business Podcast. So we have a question coming from our previous guest, and I'll share that question with you if that's okay. And after that, I'll ask you to leave me a question for our following guest. So I'll ask the question. So the question from our previous guest is: if you started all over again, your career, your business, would you do it again?
It's a powerful question, and everybody listening today should be asking this to themselves. My answer is with 100% certainty, yes. And if your answer is no, it's okay. I think that's part of this. The question is there's no right answer. It develops you on why. The whys are so important. And for your next guest that I think I'd like to have them answer is how much of a solution to a problem, percent-wise, do they think they can manage, and how much is out of their control?
Okay, we'll make sure to ask that question in the following episode. Appreciate it.
I'll be listening because I want to know the answer too.
All right, sounds good. Okay. Well, any question that you would like to ask me in the American Business Podcast?
I would actually like to ask one question to you, and that is, do you feel like you're in alignment?
Well, that's a powerful question too, right? So absolutely. So yeah, I will say so. I mean, things are always evolving, right? So it's really not possible to stay always in the one spot and same conditions. But like at the moment, in terms of alignment, where I am, what I am doing, and how I am doing, I think things are in alignment. That's how it looks. So I'll do my best to keep it that way.
Beautiful. That's all we can ask, right? You're right,
Yes.
the world is changing, and the more we can make these small adjustments in our life to keep in alignment,
That
the
is
more
true.
beautiful life is. So well done.
Yes, because everything is evolving, things are changing, so we also pivot accordingly to make it in our own way. So that's an ongoing process. Okay, so for those who like to continue this conversation with you, what is the best way that they can learn about your organization and be in touch with you?
F4cp.org is our organization. You can also follow me on LinkedIn, Dr. Sherry McAllister, Facebook and Instagram. And always feel free to leave me a message on LinkedIn if you have a question there. And find us, the organization will have plenty of resources for you, including a Find a Doctor directory. So many of you are thinking, well, she's a chiropractor. I've never been to a chiropractor. Well, good on you. You want to find alignment today? Go to that website, f4cp.org, and it'll be /find a doctor. You'll find a chiropractor that's next to your house. And if you want to start a good habit, getting someone close to you makes it easier to start the habit of alignment today.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great information. I'm glad you shared. And for future anyone from your foundation, any of your members, if they like to be in the American Business Podcast, we will be happy to welcome them. And any other authors that you may have in the foundation, we also welcome them as well, because we love talking about books, insights about the books, and we love to promote them. So that's a great opportunity. Thank you so much for being with us in your busy schedule. I truly appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you. Have a fantastic aligned day.
You too. Thank you very much. Have a great week and great day. And looking forward to having you again in the American Business Podcast in the future. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much. Well, to our audience and to our listeners, we'll be right back after a short break. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Reddit. Do you know the biggest challenge nowadays for American small businesses? That is visibility. That's why we partner with Reddit for Business. Reddit has more than 400 million weekly visitors. Furthermore, Reddit is reliable. Reddit is the number one source for real reviews on products, services, and brands. There is a promotion going on. When you spend $500, you'll get $500 in ad credit from Reddit. True story. I am a Reddit user. Anytime I need feedback or review for a product or service, I go to Reddit. I get the real answers, real feedback from real people, from Reddit communities. Scan this QR code and sign up for Reddit advertising for your business. Get the visibility for your company, your products and services. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Brother. From large companies to small offices, Brother has powerful printers and all-in-ones for your growing business. Scan the QR code and find the best printers for your needs. When you scan the QR code, you can see the entire collection, business office equipment collection of Brother USA, and pick the one that you like. You'll find printers, labels, toners, all-in-ones, and other office equipment available on Brother website when you scan the QR code. Scan the QR code and start shopping for Brother office equipment today. Thank you for your support. It is time to sign up for the online monthly networking event. Networking and podcasting together. It is called Connection America Business Alliance, partnered and powered by the American Business Podcast. During this unique business networking event, you'll be able to meet with other business professionals. At the same time, you will be in the American Business Podcast in front of thousands of business-minded YouTube subscribers, viewers, and listeners of the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. Connection America online monthly networking events are interactive. You'll be able to meet with other seasoned business professionals, and at the same time, you'll be able to interact with viewers and audience. That's a unique event. It is because it's podcasting plus networking. If you are in business, you should be networking. And if you're not networking, you are losing business every single day. That is why we created online monthly networking event called Connection America Business Alliance, CABA in short. Scan this QR code and sign up today. When you scan the QR code, you'll see the list of coming monthly online networking events. Pick the one that works for you and sign up. We have limited seating, and today is the great day to sign up for online business networking event. Networking plus podcasting. That is a unique online business networking opportunity. You can introduce yourself, your products and services, and you'll be able to network with other business professionals live on the American Business Podcast. Scan the QR code and sign up today. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you for your support. Support for the show comes from Yelp. You know, I've been talking to more than 100 business owners in the American Business Podcast. Do you know the biggest problem for small businesses nowadays? It is visibility. That is why you should sign up and list your business on Yelp for Business. I have the QR code on the screen, and when you scan the QR code, the form will show up on your screen and you can sign up on the registration form. It comes with free trial with no obligation. Make it easy for your customers to find you. Do you know there are more than 70 million customers visiting Yelp website looking for services from businesses just like yours? Restaurants, home services, professional services, and many other businesses are being searched on Yelp on daily basis. That's a great opportunity. If you list your business on Yelp, you'll be findable, searchable, and you'll be visible. When you are visible, when your customers are able to find you, you're in business. You can get opportunities, you can get leads, you can build a healthy and profitable pipeline. Consider Yelp for Business. Scan the QR code, sign up, and start your free trial. It comes with free trial. Very comfortable, no obligation. List your business and start getting the results and enjoy the benefits of Yelp Business. Thank you for your support. Thank you very much for being with me in the American Business Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, please send us an email, guestbooking@americanpodcast.tv. We also welcome sponsors and companies who like to advertise in the American Business Podcast. You can also send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. Please visit our website for the latest information about the American Business Podcast. Also, you'll be able to see our coming schedule, our guests and subjects we will be covering in the American Business Podcast episodes. If you haven't done so, please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. We'll truly appreciate it. I'll also make sure that you can also get this QR code on the screen. When you scan this QR code, it'll take you to our YouTube page and you can subscribe and support us. We are also right now listed on IMDb. You can also visit our page and rank us as well on IMDb database next to other reputable media productions. The American Business Podcast is also listed on IMDb, and we truly appreciate your support. Also, let's build the membership and subscription also in LinkedIn. If you follow LinkedIn, if you are part of it, please also go to our LinkedIn page and subscribe, follow us, support us on LinkedIn. If you are using TikTok, we are reactivating our account in TikTok, so you can also support us in our with our TikTok account as well. If you are on Instagram, we are also being more active on Instagram. We like to build it further. That will be great if you also subscribe and follow us. And also, we are on Facebook. If you use Facebook, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Facebook page and you can follow us, subscribe. Great. Well, thank you so much for being with me today in the American Business Podcast. Thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward to having you in the coming The American Business Podcast episodes. Thank you and have a great week.